All right. Good morning, everyone. How's everyone doing this morning? Take yourself off mute. There you go.
Morning.
Good morning. Good to see you, David. Sabrina, good morning. I see Steve
Good
there.
morning.
Good to see everyone. I see Steiner coming in here from Scandinavia. How are you doing, my Viking friend? Good morning, Steve. So you're getting your workout for them. All right. Well, good. Welcome to Better
Good
Each
morning.
Day. Good to see everyone, and I know we've got a lot of individuals that will join us later by recording. So everything that we do, if you've been looking at the post that we've been doing earlier this morning, we're going to focus on our gratitude roundtable, but I want to give you a little bit of idea of why do we do this? Why do we focus on gratitude? And how do we get to that 31% increase in performance that is promised by Sean Acor? He wrote a book about 10 or 12 years ago called The Happiness Advantage. And focusing on gratitude is one of the key things that changes our neurospace, if you will, and how we focus. So, how many of you, by raise of hands, think that watching the news for 3 to 5 minutes in the morning helps you or hurts you? What do you think if it helps you? No. Actually, how many think it hurts you? Okay. What does the news always have on there? Yeah, I know they usually show something at the very end of their 30-minute segment, and it'll be something about, some fireman rescued a kitten out of a tree. Okay, they try to do that. But what is the majority of news designed to do?
Gloom and doom.
Yeah, it's telling you about negative information, all the things that happened, the local shootings, the craziness in the New York subway, inflation at its highest rate in 40 years, homes continuing to increase at 20, 25, 30%, all kinds of stuff like that. And here's the key thing. I was watching something from Sean Acre this morning. We might have time for it at the end of this segment. But the key thing is he found in his analysis as a Harvard researcher that if you only watch 3 minutes of news at the beginning of the day, 9 hours later into the day, what do you think it's done for your performance?
Gone
Increased it.
down
It's dropped it. How much do you think it's dropped it?
20%.
27%.
Oh, jeez. A third of the day out the window.
27% reduction in your performance by only doing something for 3 minutes a day that affected your mental baseline. Okay. So that's what we can now prove. And, Harvard research is pretty, I guess you would say it's the gold standard, right? They know how to do the research and how to find these measuring points, these metrics. So, how do we change that? Okay. Well, first of all, what do you think would be the obvious thing in order to have better each day? What could be one thing that you do that eliminates a 27% reduction in your performance? What do you think that is? Don't watch the news.
I cut it out. I cut it out 20 years ago.
Okay, Steve's already done it 20 years ago. I saw this when I read Tim Ferriss's book called 4 Hour Work Week. And I read that book probably in 2010, 2011, something like that. And that was one of the things he was talking about is removing that negative content from our life. So here's the thing. I didn't know until like the day or two after the New York subway deal where the guy started shooting at people and released the gas down there in the subway. Okay. And here's the thing. I found out because I was on another networking call with people that were in New York and they happened to be talking about it. And I was like, what's going on? Now, did it hurt me or help me that I didn't know that when it was happening? It didn't affect me at all. Absolutely zero. Okay. It was something I found out after the fact. So what we do is we think from what we call a human participation standpoint that we need to know about this kind of content to do what? Why? What do we do that for? Why do we think
I
we
guess
need
we
to?
don't want to. I guess we don't want to be ignorant. I guess is my thing.
Yeah. And why is that, David? Talk about that. Why is it that you don't want to feel?
Well, okay. Even with your paid in full program, what if I didn't know about the housing market getting out of control and I needed to make an informed decision about it, or if there's COVID restrictions and I'm not paying attention, do I need to know about that for work? Or,
So let's
but again, what's the balance between ignorance and education versus gratitude and cutting out the negative? What's the fine line?
right.
Where do you come to that happy medium?
So I'll give you
Sorry, can I add something?
yeah. Go ahead, Lisa. Jump in here.
I think it's a survival mechanism.
Hmm.
That's our ancient brain thinks that we have to get all the information in order to survive.
Right.
So I think that's a sort of, it's a relic that we still think that we need to have all the information now in order to survive.
I think you're exactly right because our primal version, survival mechanism, Maslow's hierarchy of need, one of our first and primary functions as humans is to figure out security and survival, right?
Mhm.
So survival first is at the base of the pyramid, then security right after that. And so we think if we're going to need to know all this stuff about the news, that that is still part of our ability to be secure and survive. However, what I have found, whether you're using Google News, or YouTube,
Mhm.
how quickly can you find out and update yourself on something that you really need to know the moment you find out it's necessary to know it? That much time.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. You can actually go to Google News and you can actually do what? You can set preferences. So
Yes.
I'm giving you a perspective here because our focus is how to have better each day. And if we understand, the research says that if we don't just 3 minutes, but how many people usually watch the news? More than 3 minutes,
It's
10
on in
Yeah.
the
minutes,
background
15
too.
minutes, 30 minutes, okay? And you
Mhm.
can get lost into that. In fact, what was the headline news that CNN came up with? And it's 30 minutes and it just continues to rotate the news over and over again every 30 minutes. So if you're playing that in the background while you're getting ready for the day, what is that doing to your performance?
You
Based on
actually
Harvard,
getting hypnotized by it.
well, yeah, and Harvard research says only 3 minutes of it, 9 hours later, has reduced your performance by 27%.
Yeah.
Wow. So we're always focusing on concepts of how to have better each day, how to become our better versions. So, in order to, how you would say that, to parlay, David, the concern that you're saying that you have, and rightfully so, what if I need to know about something? The
Mhm.
answer is go find out that specific information and drill down into it when you need to know it. Okay. Me not knowing about the New York subway issue um, until 2 days later, when I happened to be on a networking call with a bunch of New Yorkers, they brought it up, and I got what, instantly educated on it. If I needed to know more, I could jump onto Google and find out anything I needed to know. At the end of the day, though, did it really affect me by not knowing? No,
No.
because I can't do anything about it. Now, does it help when I know something about it? Can I give a prayer? Can I give a positive wish that everyone is
Yes.
safe and that the perpetrator was brought to justice? Of course, yes. But in that moment, my point is we can let go of that requirement that we're holding ourselves to, because what it's doing is it's retarding our ability to perform at optimum rate. Make sense? Okay.
Can I add to
Mhm.
that, Steve?
Yeah, go ahead.
So Tom Billio on Impact Theory maybe 2 days ago had everyone's into gaming. I'm not a gamer, but they had what they call a futurist, and there's this whole thing behind it. But she was a blonde young woman. I can't remember her name, but she was a futurist and a gamer. And what they did is they predicted COVID back in 2010. So what they do is they take the gaming community, like tens of thousands of people, and say, hey, if we have this scenario, how would you react? What would you do? How would you adapt and overcome? So it's teaching you how to be prepared mentally. So when crap hits the fan,
Mm-hmm.
when I go to the supermarket, if there's no chicken and toilet paper, I'll just eat pork and use paper towel, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
Sure.
it's teaching you to be prepped in your brain so you don't get T-boned by news. You can
Sure.
say, hey, I know these different scenarios can exist. Mentally, I'm kind of prepared to have mental toughness over this. I don't have to freak out if this happens or that happens. There's no need for me to go seek gloom and doom.
Sure. So you're saying basically there's a simulation environment. Now, the way that, from a game standpoint, gamification, what is the system called that NASA started back in the 60s when we started putting people into space, called astronauts? What were they using before games actually showed up?
Simulators
Yeah, but where was the simulator? There were simulator physical ones, but where was the ultimate simulator for
in your
things
mind.
that they could not predict, could go wrong when you're miles up in the air, or in the other case, when they started sending the lunar missions, you're so far away we can't even build something fast enough to come get you. So if something messes up bad, you're dead. So you either figure it out. So how did they teach them to simulate this? Do you know?
Is that visual motor rehearsal?
Visual motor rehearsal. You're exactly right on, David. Okay, so VMR, visual motor rehearsal, was actually created by NASA, and it was so successful. What it was designed to do is there were so many unknown unknowns that, what would you call it? NASA could not possibly imagine all the different scenarios to train the brightest people that we have on the planet, right? Because that's what we went through, did all the IQ tests, found the people that made an A plus on everything that they've ever taken at any test in the world. And then what they started doing is they put them in as astronauts and they started filtering them. And the filtering was designed to do what? To see how they performed under stress. Because if you're a person that when things go wrong, you press the panic button and everything falls apart, how productive is that going to be for you when you're far up in space? It's not. Not only are you going to kill yourself, but you could kill everybody else on the mission. Okay? So what they found, people, is they taught them how to do what? Like you're talking about, David, the gaming environment was designed to take individuals and put them in simulated environments so that when your mind can adopt to the environment and say, oh, okay, this is how I did it before. Maybe this is a program or a syntax or a process that I can apply again and again and again. And what does it do to your levels of anxiety? It dramatically reduces them.
100%.
Yeah.
And they said that some problems they hadn't been able to solve around viruses or other things, this community, this group consciousness of tens of thousands of people
Mm-hmm.
worked on these problems and they came up with solutions with this group consciousness. So it was like a beneficial group problem solving.
Well, there's the value of collaboration. We've talked about this before. Again, a different part of Sean Aker's study, his newest book that came out 2 years ago called Big Potential. And Big Potential is basically, I'll sum it up like this. If you go out and look at a mountain and the mountain is 6,500 feet, you get a picture in your mind of how difficult that is and you get a visceral feeling. Okay? Now, if we all went out there together and got to the base of the mountain and as a group collaborating looked at that same 6,500 mountain, our perspective in our mind is that together it's 20% less difficult for us to accomplish this as a group and as a team. So the
Well,
reason why we meet together, the reason why we've been meeting together for eons as human beings, we didn't know this, but every obstacle that comes into our life, whether it's a pandemic, whether it's, I don't know, another tribe wanting to war against us, whether it's us coming up with survival solutions, whether, I don't know, something to eat, okay? Way back when we were Neanderthals or whatever the heck we were. At that point, when we found that we grouped together as a tribe, our perspective was whatever difficulties we were up against was 20% less. Does that help us succeed? Yes. Okay. So we have this already built inside of us. So when you do an obstacle, do it with someone else. And the obstacle in your mind becomes 20% smaller, 20% less difficult. That increases your ability to overcome it. Right? Does everybody understand that? It's another idea of how to become better each day. Do it with someone else, whether that's on a Zoom, whether that's hanging out with someone that's a friend, a significant other, maybe someone in your family, someone that's a friend. Do your obstacles with someone else, and your obstacles automatically in your mind become 20% smaller, meaning that you have a higher probability of succeeding. Make sense? So,
that is so true
mhm,
because like sometimes like if I don't want to do something in particular, whether it's paperwork or even housework or something like that,
mhm,
if you just have somebody here,
mhm,
even if they're not helping you,
mhm,
it just gives you that motivation to do it, you
absolutely.
know. Sometimes I would say to my sister, "Oh, just come. You don't have to help me. Just being here, you're going to keep, help me do
Sure.
it." And there's the saying that says that none of us is stronger than all of us.
I like that. Okay, none of us
Yeah,
is stronger. I got to write
stronger
this down.
than all of us.
I'm writing it down right now. Okay.
And Steve's lifting 20% more weight and reps back there with this group support.
Yes.
Absolutely. Steve,
You're
you're getting,
working it out psychologically.
That's awesome. Nisa, say that one
True.
more time. None of us is.
So none of us is stronger than all of us.
I like that. I'm going to put your name on that. Okay.
Thank you. Yeah.
I love that. Nisa, that's outstanding. Okay. All right. I love that. Really good title. In fact, when we actually share this recording with everyone, I think I'm going to name that as the title for
Did you,
this week. Thank you, Nisa. That's
excuse me,
outstanding.
Lisa, did you find out that by yourself?
I don't know where I heard it, or I don't know whether I've said it wrongly or what, but I was, is it, I don't know where it's from, but
I'll toss it into Google and see if it does.
yeah,
If it
see if it
attributed, if
comes
it
up.
cites it to
I
someone,
might,
great.
I know that somebody, I know that it's something about like teamwork, you know.
Uh-huh.
I know I've heard about the teamwork, but I'm not sure if I made that up or whether I heard it from somewhere. Or I heard something similar and then I didn't get it right or
Oh,
something.
okay. You're close. Ray Kroc. None of us is as
Oh,
good as all of us.
okay.
Is
So
what
yeah,
Google's telling me that Ray Kroc said it. Ray Kroc, of course, is the founder of McDonald's.
of
Um,
McDonald's,
yeah.
yes.
So you're in good company, Nisa.
Okay.
But we can use this. None of us is stronger than all of us. I'm going
Then
to
all
give
of
that
us.
modification, and I'm going to cite that to Nisa. How about that?
Okay. Thank you.
Fantastic. Okay,
Yeah, that's great.
good stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got about 10 more minutes left. So I want to jump into our gratitude roundtable. I just dropped some stuff in the links. One of them is actually the article by Sean Acor, and here is actually a short video by him. And if you're watching this by recording by this is replay, then I'll put that in the description down in the bottom of the YouTube replay. So check out this when you get a chance. This is actually a routine that Sean talks about getting your 31% increase in performance. Okay. So the key thing, 3 acts of gratitude every single day. 3 acts of gratitude takes you a couple minutes, but what it is, it's your focus. 3 acts of gratitude. The second thing that he does, actually, I'll jump over here and share my screen with you so everybody can see the same thing. This is the actual article. Okay, so 3 acts of gratitude. Okay, that's the first thing that we do every day to get the increase in performance. And you do this for 21 days. Okay, and the key thing that he's talking about here is instead of just saying, I am grateful for my son, you want to actually extend it and you actually want to give a reason. So I'm grateful for my son because he hugged me today, which means I'm loved regardless. So you want to go a
Oh,
little
that's
further,
good.
not just the simplicity of I'm grateful for X. You want to add this very important word here because it focuses your mind to find a reason why you're happy. Okay, the next thing is the doubler. Okay, so this is 2 minutes a day. Think of one positive experience that occurred during the last 24 hours. Okay, and you can do this with a group of individuals if you're meeting on a Zoom call or just with yourself every morning, maybe with your your morning meditation. Fun 15. This is 15 minutes of cardiovascular exercise. Takes away the it's like an antidepressant. 30% lower blood pressure. We all know we should exercise every day. Sean's adding that in there. Breathing, of course, they found that during the day, and this was the research done at Google, if you just take 2 minutes to walk away from your keyboard, and I know this because I pull 12, 13 hours a day, and taking those few minutes to walk away, I usually go downstairs and get another cup of coffee, but stopping a second to breathe, and when you stop a second to breathe, you go back up here and do what? Think about what you're grateful for. Okay, you can think about what you've just completed. You can think about emails you've just connected with. You can think about Zoom calls that you've got off of, whatever it is. But as we're doing more and more of this virtual environment, we need to use this because we don't have a social interactivity. And this gives us that ability to boost that because being social is something that's important to us as human beings. And I'm going to give you this last thing right here because I want to take some time to focus on this is conscious acts of kindness. And we've talked about this before, and this is writing a 2-minute positive email or text praising or thanking a person that you know. And you do that once a day, okay? Once a day. So you want to focus on this. If you can do all of these for 21 days in a row, then you get a 31% boost in what? In your performance. How do you increase your performance? Well, it's taking a few minutes, okay? Instead of the 3 minutes watching the news that's going to reduce your performance by 20 something percent, okay? throw out those 3 minutes, and what do we replace it with? That's the best way. Anytime you do a change in habit, you can't just stop something, you have to replace it. So if we have a habit, I'm not going to call it a bad habit, I'm going to say a habit of watching news that's hurting our performance. If we're going to throw it out of our lives, what should we do instead? Replace it with something that's going to do what? Boost our performance. So if you throw out the news, that's hurting your performance by 20%, and you put this in its place and this increases your performance by 31%, what's the net effect? If you're just doing simple numbers, you could actually get a 50% increase in performance a day over what you're doing right now, simply by throwing the news out and replacing it with what Sean Acor is talking about, the happiness advantage, right? Focusing your mind on being grateful, taking those times to breathe during the day, and sending out one a day. Just something once a day. Send a text. Don't send an email. Send a text. Why? A text, when you send a text to someone, 95% of all text get open and read in 5 minutes after you send it. If you really want to get to someone, if you send them an email, they only have a 30% chance of opening it within a week. 30% in a week. So if you send a gratitude to someone, you really want to impact them and let them know that you're grateful for something that they're doing. Don't send an email because they might not see it for a week. It's still good, okay? But send a text. If you send a text, they're going to open it right away. You're going to make somebody's day. But in addition to making someone's day, you're going to make your day, okay? That focusing on being grateful, not just saying, hey, I'm grateful you're in my life. Give them the what? Because.
Yeah, okay, bye.
Does that make sense? I'm grateful that you're in my life because, and give them an explanation. Does everybody get that? Okay.
Can I add a quick something?
Sure.
So you talk about Joe Dispenza a lot. I threw something in the chat that's two different links there. He found out that the monks used to do all three of those together. He calls it the head heart connection. I think there's heartmath.com. But when the monks used to, they used to do this thing over the chest. He said, if you put your hand over your heart, take 3 minutes, slow your breathing down, do the gratitude of at least three things or for 3 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
It takes 3 minutes for the heart and the head to connect to have a better synchronicity. So he has a couple YouTubes. I put a YouTube, I think that's it. But if you research it, you're interested in Joe, that's some information.
Yeah. Joe Dispenza is outstanding. I love looking at him, and he's done a lot. He, again, is a researcher. He uses the science. He goes after the measurable metrics as opposed to just the warm and fuzzies, okay? So it's super important that we understand this can be, it's not just performance changing, this is life changing. Imagine that if you do this on a regular basis, what is this going to do, not just for your life to become your better version each day, for you to make a better impact? What happens if you set the standard for those people that know you? 2 people, 5 people, 10 people, right? What can happen? You can be the person that is the, what you call the linchpin. You could be the person that sparks a dramatic change in our world. It starts with you. And then from you, it starts with those people that know you most, that are doing what? Listening to what you're saying or watching what you do? Which is more important?
Watching what you do.
Watching what you do. Your performance, just like we're sitting here, rooting Steve on here. He's doing an excellent job of doing his, working with his dumbbells this morning, and we're here helping him, okay? Now, I know Steve works out. He's religious about it. He's been doing it for years. The thing is Steve is demonstrating to us by his actions that he does his workout on a regular basis. So it's not just talking, he's demonstrating it, okay? Very valuable. All of us need to do the same thing. What can we do on a social media basis that allows us to share this?
Well, post what you're doing, whatever positive habits you are doing, posting them, and it might inspire somebody.
Sure. Could you do a little live talking
Yeah.
about what you're doing and why you're doing, and doing a 21-day challenge with those people that are in your social media? Why not?
Good idea.
31% performance increase in 21 days. And you do it not into your group, okay? Now, see, I don't know everybody that Steiner knows, okay? Steiner has a group of individuals in his social media group that he influences that they don't know Steve Moreland. And I could tell them all day long and send out posts all day long. And how many of them would it reach, Steiner? Probably none, because I'm not connected to them. But I've seen you do your social media posts before. I watched them because you and I are friends, but you reached your network of individuals that I can't reach. Same thing with you, Sabrina. Same thing with you, Nisa, Steve, David, and each one of us. We all have our centers of influence. So it's not about one person just doing this. This isn't just about Sean Acor trying to share his research, because how many of you have ever heard of Sean Acor before I brought him up to you? Anybody?
No.
Okay. So I found him because I'm a nerd, okay? And I look for stuff like this, okay? When I found it, I did what? I shared it with you. And it now
Mm-hmm.
influenced you. And now we're here on our call talking about how to have a better, become better each day. And we're talking about how to actually apply it. So you can create your own call. You can do it with a live, you can do it with a recorded video, you can do it every day with a snapshot that you just share into your group. Set the standard by showing other people your actions. Don't just talk about the theory. The theory is outstanding. Share the links that we've put into the chat here about heart math. Yeah, that's cool. I want to open that. Let me grab that. Okay,
So
I got
it's
that one.
becoming the change we want to see in the world.
Absolutely. And so that's
As
what I'm
Mahatma
encouraging
Gandhi
you
says that.
is not just to do this, not just to do what we're doing here, talking about it, but let's apply it into our lives. And while we're doing it, show off. That's not the right word, because that sounds like you're trying to be arrogant. Demonstrate. Let's do that. Demonstrate our 21-day challenge of what we're doing and what we're applying, and challenge other people that are watching us. You want to talk about individuals starting to share your post and your videos? Talk about what you're doing to increase your performance and also to eliminate the things that are decreasing your performance. Like what? Watching negative news. You can jump over that. If you really need to know about it, I mean, really, if you really need to know that the price of things are going up right now, all you need to do is drive by the gas station and look at, the fact a gallon of gas is 50% more than it was a year ago at the same time. 50% more. Okay. What else do you need to do? Do you need to hear that every morning on the news, them harping about it? No, we see it every time we go up there. We put our card in the actual what do you call it, the refueler, whatever. I can't come up with it. The pump. Okay. So my point is thank you for being here. Does anybody need the link to jump on to the next 30-minute section?
Yeah.
Yes, please.
Okay, hang on a second here. Let me give you the link.
Are you still doing the emails with the 3 links, or are you switching it to like Facebook?
I have both. So
okay.
the email should have gone out yesterday. Should be in your inbox somewhere. Here's the link and the passcode for. Wait a minute. No, I'm sorry. I almost gave you the wrong one. That's the wrong
Steve,
one. Yes, sir.
I just got the invitation to this first meeting.
I'm
on
giving you the one
Facebook.
for the second one right now. That'll go. This one.
But earlier I got this email, but I don't get it anymore.
Okay, well, I'll when you jump on the next one here, I'm going to give you this. That's the link for the next one. And Steiner, I'm going to give you, this is the form to be on our email list, just to make sure you're on there. I'm going to put this in here as well for everyone. Just fill this out. And if you've already filled it out, it'll show you that you've already filled it out. So click on that link and it'll just make you a member of Better Each Day. Okay?
Okay.
All right. So use the first link. I'll see you back on here in Zoom in about 30 seconds. Have a better each day.